Have you ever held a baby in your arms or maybe played with a toddler and someone says to you, "Oh, you would be such a good mom," and you think to yourself, okay. It's a very, very strange comment to make, but as child-free people, we hear this all the time. I know I definitely did. So why do people make this comment and how do you handle it? Let's dive in. Before I get into the reasons this happens, let me remind you why it's so important to be aware of them and why I'm giving you tips to handle this particular comment. This can be one of many, many comments that sets us back and makes us confused about our child-free choice. It starts to make you wonder, well, if everyone else thinks I would be a good mom and everyone keeps telling me that I would be a good mom, maybe I'm making the wrong choice. Maybe I'm missing out on the opportunity to be this amazing parent. Maybe I'm being selfish for not giving a child the joy of having a good mother. Maybe, and we get into a downward spiral. So before that happens, or if that has already happened, here's why. The first reason this happens is this. When people say you would make a good parent, they are referring to your personality traits and your actions based on who you are now. Maybe you're really caring and kind, nurturing, supportive, reliable. Maybe you enjoy holding babies or playing with toddlers. Maybe you like taking your nieces or nephews to a fun activity that you know they'll enjoy. Maybe you already work with children and are really good at your job. Since this comment is based on who you are now, unless the person telling you that you would be a great mom has a magical crystal ball, there is absolutely no way that they can possibly know or guarantee it. There is a huge difference between holding a sleeping baby for 10 or 20 minutes and experiencing weeks of sleep deprivation. Teaching children all day and then going home to relax and unwind is not the same as going home and helping your own kids with their homework and bedtime routines. There's a difference between playing with a toddler for half an hour and having the energy and desire to keep them occupied on a daily basis. Now, of course, I'm not saying that some of us could possibly be good parents. What I'm getting at is that there are absolutely no guarantees. Let me share some personal examples. The first is that I'm always told that I have all the patience in the world, and for the most part, I do. So theoretically, I would make a good mom because I am so patient. But the reason I'm so patient is because there are not many things in my life that test my patience, except sometimes Rick. I am extremely grumpy when I don't get enough sleep. I struggle with work-life balance, which leaves me with just enough time and energy for self-care. I enjoy the luxury of taking my time, so I don't like to rush around if I can help it. So really, my patience is based on who I am now and what my lifestyle looks like. If I was to add more stress to my already stressful day, if I didn't get proper sleep, if I was constantly having to chauffeur kids around, if I couldn't fit in my self-care or my physical rest, if Rick and I were in disagreement about our parenting choices and it was causing friction in our relationship, if all that was added, would my so-called patience be the same? I don't think so, but for argument's sake, I'll say I don't know. And if I don't know, an outsider can't possibly know either. Before I move on to my next example, the doors to my program and private community, The Ultimate Guide to Embracing a Child-Free Life, are open. So if you are looking to strut down the child-free path with joy, peace, and confidence alongside me and women from around the world, make sure you click the link in my description box to learn more. Another example relating to my personality traits is that I am a huge worrier when it comes to the people I love. So that can be seen by some as a form of love and care, although really it's my issue that I need to work on. Now, if I had kids and I was constantly worrying about their well-being, their safety, their education, their relationships, their future, is it possible that the worry could consume me and turn into full-blown anxiety so that this caring and loving person may start to develop some not so positive positive attributes? Maybe. So my point again is who you are now at this very moment and who you are as a parent with a human being that you are fully responsible for many, many years may not be the same. Okay, moving on to the next reason why people tell you that you'd make a good mom. Assumptions. People operate under the idea that everyone is destined to want children. So they assume that if you don't have kids yet, it's just a matter of time before you do. To them, the fact that you are child-free is just a temporary technicality. People are so conditioned that having children is a path that we all have to take that their brains can't see another way. Assumptions are one way that the brain saves energy. People draw on their past experiences to find patterns in how life works. So when they find themselves in new situations, they apply those same patterns, which are assumptions. This saves people the energy of having to analyze every situation they encounter. So when they see you holding a baby and you don't have one yet, the awkward comments ensue because their brains are telling them holding baby equals motherhood. Now that we know some of the reasons why people tell you that you would make a great mom, I want to share with you some tips on how to handle these kinds of awkward moments. My first tip is validate your feelings. We are all experiencing our child-free journey in very unique ways. I've shared with you before that my personal journey was not easy. I was riddled with fears and what ifs about my choice, so comments like this did set me back and make me feel uncomfortable. To some, it may be no big deal, so it really depends on where you are. If any comment about being child-free makes you pause, you don't need to question your feelings. If it inspires a negative reaction in you, it's completely understandable. My next tip is set healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are a way to make sure that your emotional and mental state isn't jeopardized by friends and family. For example, you can make it clear to those around you that you do not want to hear any baby-related comments at all. Your boundaries can also be physical. So if someone asks you to hold a baby and you know that it's going to create an uncomfortable moment for you, you have every right to say no. Having no boundaries set or poor ones will eventually lead to frustration and resentment, and you definitely want to avoid that. Another tip you can use is ignore what they say. We were just talking about this in my weekly live chats with the women in my program, and it's up to you to check the temperature of the situation. But I have found that sometimes no response is the best response. If the comment wasn't particularly hurtful at the particular time it was said, it's probably best to just walk away or change the subject altogether. I let things slide when I just don't have the energy or the bandwidth to go into a situation that might get heated if it continues, and a bunch of my members agreed. If ignoring isn't your vibe, you can also simply state your truth. Telling others that what they said is not accurate or doesn't apply to you is also okay. Educating or correcting someone by saying that you are child-free shows that you have clarity around the subject and can also avoid more annoying or hurtful comments, which I won't get into because we all know what they are. I've been in these situations so many times, and what I've learned is that there isn't such a thing as the right way to respond because every situation is just so different. My intention here is for you to know why it's happening and that you have options to deal with these uncomfortable or awkward scenarios. Let me know in the comments below if any of this resonated with you, and if you want to dive deeper into the assumptions that people have about the child-free, you'll definitely want to watch this video where I talk more about the comments that we are just so tired of hearing. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.